Things are getting really weird in the housing market, and it's not just me saying that. Sorry, home buyers, houses aren't getting cheaper. Single-family home prices were up in the first quarter, single-family housing starts were up in March, and most homeowners are waiting for mortgage rates to drop before they sell. I'm Ken Tyndall. Those are the headlines. Let's take a closer look. If you're waiting for home prices to drop, it looks as if you're going to have to keep waiting. New data shows America's home price correction is fizzling out, winding down fast. Housing prices are not going down. In fact, they're going up. Single-family home prices up 4.7% in the first quarter of 2023. That's year over year. It's down from the previous quarter's revised annual growth rate of 8.6%. By the way, Fannie Mae measured the price change for all U.S. single-family properties except condos. As expected, the annual rate of increase in home prices slowed dramatically in response to fast rising interest rates. But the fact that home prices rose at all shows that there is a significant demand. Take a look at this Yahoo Finance chart. It shows the housing market stabilizing. 76% of all regional housing markets, you can see the blocks in blue, according to data from Zillow, they posted a month-over-month home price increase. Just 23% of markets saw prices fall. Those are the orange and red areas. Prices are surging in the East and Midwest, while we can see more price drops in the West and in Florida. But there's still one big problem. There's not enough inventory on the market, not enough homes for sale, and the low supply continues to keep home prices elevated. The overall positive trend for home prices is a big change from 2022, but even with the growing demand that we always see in spring and a tight inventory, we're not seeing that many price cuts. We're actually seeing the real estate market stabilize. Of course, you can find houses for sale in any market across the country that have price reductions. That doesn't always mean that the market is crashing. It also doesn't always mean the market is in a correction. It can just mean that the sellers price their homes too high in the first place for current market conditions. When they're not getting any offers, they might just realize they overpriced their homes. And a lot of times it takes some convincing from their realtors to lower the price. But when they price it right, it sells. Back to the headlines. There's some good news for home buyers. Mortgage rates continued to sort of level off. The average 30-year fixed rate fell for a fifth straight week, just a little bit, to 6.27%. Rates have been sliding down since early March. They're down almost half a point since March 2nd. So if we analyze the mortgage rates and how they're impacting the housing market, last year we saw mortgage rates spike. As a result, we saw housing sales drop. Then 2023 brought some relief. We've seen mortgage rates drop a little bit. Inflation also eased a little. The Consumer Price Index showed just a 0.1% increase in March, but the current CPI showed an annual inflation increase of 5%. That's the lowest since May of 2021. A drop in rates and the better inflation numbers, that's good news for home buyers, but there's still a lack of inventory. The Insider headline, "Sorry home buyers, housing prices aren't getting cheaper." Zillow's chief economist says it's unlikely home prices will continue to fall. There's so few houses for sale that buyers still compete for them despite higher mortgage rates, and buyers can expect high prices but more concessions from sellers who are eager to offload their homes. Despite all these things, over the coming months, the number of home sales will continue to be lower than a year ago, according to the chief economist at Realtor.com. Bottom line, if you bought a median-priced home for $386,797 with a 20% down payment, you'd be paying $1,617 a month with the current rate of 6.27%. That's compared with an $825 payment with that 3.2% interest rate we saw back in January of 2022. You'd pay about $791 a month more on your mortgage than a year ago. So if you already own a home with one of those low-interest mortgages, you probably wouldn't be too excited about trading that in for a higher mortgage rate. And that's why most homeowners are waiting for mortgage rates to drop before selling. You can see in this weekly real estate news headline, it's sort of a good news, bad news thing for the housing market. A new survey from Realtor.com and HarrisX indicates homeowners who are planning to sell their homes in the next 12 months are also planning to buy a new home. But the bad news is most of those sellers will have a new mortgage. So 82% of these sellers felt locked in by their current low mortgage rate, and more than half 56% are waiting for rates to come down. Couple more quick headlines. Single-family housing starts up in March. Single-family housing starts were at a rate of 861,000 in March, according to new data from the Census Bureau and the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The March rate is 2.75 above the revised February figure. And then there's this. March housing starts, sluggish start to spring home building. March typically shows a rebounding of housing starts and permits from the winter blues, but with affordability pressures mounting, home builder activity is once again retreating this spring. Housing starts dropped to 1.42 million in March, down 0.8% from revised February figures and down more than 17% from a year earlier. Housing permits issued in March were down 8.8% from revised February figures, and 1.54 million homes were completed in March. That's down a little from February, but up almost 13% year over year. So housing starts are up and sluggish. So what can we expect next? More mixed messages. Look at this Fortune headline. Housing market analysts are divided. Zillow and Moody's issue starkly different home price forecasts for the nation's 400 largest markets. It's a lot of information to take in and a lot can change, but maybe Fortune nailed it. Things are getting really weird in the housing market. If you're planning to buy a new home, you'll also want to make sure your credit score is in good shape. Watch this video to learn how you can improve your credit score and subscribe for more updates on the housing market.